That's so pretty, but so, I don't know the words. Oh, it is just after 7:15 Tuesday morning, and pretty early on in my morning commute. It's rainy, it's dark, but the sun's trying to peek out behind those clouds. So about halfway through my commute, it's going to be sunny and rainy, but still a little sunny. So this angle works a little better. Usually, I have the camera on the other side, and you're staring at the back of my steering wheel, which is kind of ate up because 11-year-old car. So hopefully everybody's having a good morning so far. If you're not watching this live, regardless of what time it is, hopefully you're having a good day. I am recovering from a sick day yesterday. I decided I was going to post a picture in the circle groups and on my wall. I don't know if anybody's seen it, but check it out. Circle fans, inner circle. Um, and if you know me personally, on my wall, there's a little bit of a difference from, I want to say, it was last December. Well, that that first picture was kind of before my heaviest. I guess it's kind of obvious that the reason I don't have any pictures from at my heaviest is because I was at my heaviest and I didn't want to be photographed. Plus, the last time we actually did pictures was during my daughter's high school graduation, which was in 2017. And that was the last picture that I have, and it was still before my heaviest. So at 20, 2017, 2018, that's when I peaked at my heaviest. And I joined this challenge at work, maintain, don't gain challenge for the holidays, not knowing that I was going to start off where I am, the progress, the journey to where I am now, anyway. So I guess it was December, somewhere around there, of 2018 is kind of when it officially started, going from my super heaviest and just doing a little bit of portion control and not pigging out over the holidays, November, December, whatever. Um, and basically, we get to February, and as long as you didn't gain weight, that's kind of the goal. But for me, I wanted to try something, so I was drinking a lot less soda. I was drinking Gatorade instead of soda, and it was only drinking like one or two a day, as opposed to the ridiculous amount of soda, juices, Gatorade, strawberry lemonades. It was, I mean, the list goes on about just calories that I drank. So I actually lost, um, I think it was like 20 pounds from the November to February time frame. And I don't know if it was just doing something more than nothing, but it kickstarted my weight loss. And Circle came along in February, and I started my channel in March 4th. And, from there, Circle helped me kick the habit of sodas. Um, it got rid of my craving completely. Now, when I look at a soda, I'm just like, never again. My parents, I'm pretty sure my dad didn't really drink too many sodas. He would have maybe like one every now and again, if that. My mother, my brothers, we all drank sodas growing up, and it's just a lot of sugar, so much sugar. So from February till now, that's kind of been my total weight loss. My milestone earlier this month of 50 pounds. And it's a struggle because if you stare at the scale, you're going to have good days and bad days, and it's going to fluctuate. So, like the other day, I stepped on the scale and I wasn't at 50 pounds anymore, but all my clothes are fitting better. This hoodie. What up? That's Mike. I think that was Mike. What up, Mike? I can see it in my peripheral, and for some reason, I know when you're online. But um, this hoodie, like I used to go to the flea market and get 6X shirts. I know that probably sounds ridiculous because 6X, that's freaking huge. But the problem with shirts for me is that I'm tall, 6'1", and being bigger guy, broad shoulders, a 3X is form fitting when it comes to a t-shirt. So I was getting 6X's, and then they would shrink down and they would be comfortable. But the problem is when you buy big shirts, they're big width and not length. So I end up having these, SpongeBob shirts by the time that I'm ready to toss them out because they just shrink upwards. Um, I'm sure Mike says something about have a good day because I know my man Mike. Hope you have a good day too. I'll check that once I get into traffic if you're still around. But these shirts, if I get them any smaller, they shrink and then they're not comfortable. And then with having that belly, it just looks crazy. So 6X shirts, and all of my shirts are like really loose now. And it kind of works out that I've changed positions at work because I've gone through like an entirely new wardrobe, just because my role changed and I needed dress shirts and some dress pants and whatnot. But it kind of worked out perfectly with, excuse me, with the weight loss. And all of the pants that I bought, they were super tight, and the shirts were, a couple fit nice. Most of them were really tight, and like the one I'm wearing today, it was pretty much unwearable. If I sat down, all the buttons were like hanging on for dear life, and now it's comfortable. But so I posted that picture 50 pounds ago, and I don't even know if it's actually 50 pounds ago because that wasn't my biggest. It wasn't at the biggest that I have been. So even that picture doesn't do justice to how much weight that I've lost. So, and it's not a fast process. A lot of people are looking for that silver bullet where they can take a pill or drink a powder or, completely change their diet. But then what happens after your diet changes and you go right back to eating the way you were? I mean, you gain it all back plus. And that's what kept happening to me. So I posted that picture, and the support's overwhelming. It's kind of amazing that so many people have, commented and reacted to the post. I really just wanted to share my experience with people so that way they could see something as little as drinking more water is actually beneficial to your health. I've always heard that I should drink more water, and I didn't really put too much stock in it. I just assumed, yeah, drink more water, eat more carrots, eat more vegetables. There's always some kind of story that goes along with, being healthy. And it always has something to do with, the typical to just be healthy, eat healthier. But it's a lot to keep up with, and it's really expensive if you think about it. It's so much cheaper to eat like crap, and so many people just default to eating like crap. And there's not much you can do about it because it's convenient. It's right there in front of you. And on your way home, you can grab, you know, a meal for like $5, $6. So why wouldn't people do that? I mean, and every now and again, I'll stop and I'll grab something from Burger King or McDonald's, and it's not excessive like it used to be. But I also don't eat like that every day. So it's not just changing your fluid intake to just water, but you got to be conscious of the crap that you're eating too. So there's no crazy diets, nothing like that. And so even when I went to my yearly checkup with my doctor, they said, losing weight over a length of time is much healthier and much more manageable. So stick to it if it's working for you. If you stall, just stay with it because eventually your body starts to adapt and then you'll start losing weight again because of the way that you're treating your body. So just stick with it. And then, of course, exercise if you can. I haven't done any exercise yet, but I mean, that's the goal. Once I get below a certain weight, I'll be able to move a lot better. I did take the dogs out and kind of ran a block of the full lap that we did. And, the dogs enjoy it. They're happy to run, especially if I'm running with them. And, even though it felt like I was going to die because I couldn't breathe, I at least made the attempt just to see if I could. Because I haven't ran in years, even a short sprint, just because my knees, my feet, my back, all those things that hurt me, it it makes it really difficult to exercise or even move. So I understand when you see those videos of people who are really really overweight. I mean, they have trouble getting in and out of bed and walking and doing anything active. And it takes a lot of effort and a lot of motivation to just get up and do all these things. So I understand, and I'm not even close to their situation, and they make the effort and do it. But a lot of those are um, those TV shows. They push people so hard that after it's over, they go back to their old habits anyway. So it's unfortunate, and that's not what I want. I want to be healthy. I don't want to have a heart attack because I've been shocking my body for so long and forcing it to, respond to all this excessive change in diet and exercise and all that. But anyway, like I said, I posted that video or that picture because I wanted to at least show there are results if you at least make some changes. It doesn't have to be drastic changes, and it doesn't have to be overnight because it's not going to be overnight. You didn't gain all that weight overnight. Why would you lose it overnight? And you got to imagine that it took time for your body to store all that fat and to gain all that weight. It's going to take time to burn it off too. So just be careful whatever you do. If it's something that is healthy, talk to your doctor about it and make sure that it's, something that you're capable of doing and you're not going to hurt yourself. Um, but also so that way you have some guidance and do it right. So the point of my video today, look at this weird dark shadowing. Point of my video today, since I do have a fairly lengthy drive, is discussing paying it forward and kind of looking out for each other and doing good things. Because for me, karma is real. Hope you're having a great day. Keep up the great work. That's what Mike was saying. Thanks, Mike. Um, but the point of the video is about paying it forward and doing something positive and good and keeping that good karma in your corner because it's very real. For the longest time, I wasn't doing anything that benefited anybody other than myself, and a lot of my selfishness led to you know a lot of negative things in my life, and it's like an endless cycle of blame and self pity, and you don't want to fall down that rabbit hole because it's not really easy to get out of. So doing something simple, something very small. You don't have to like pay for the person's food in the drive-through line or coffee behind you every day. You don't have to go out and donate half your check. I mean, there's a lot of extreme things that people do during the holidays. And if you have the resources and the capability, then great, do it. There's nothing stopping you from taking care of somebody else or paying it forward in a monetary way. But that's not the only thing that you can do. Oh, that red is really weird. Um, I guess that's from stoplights or brake lights. But spending money isn't the only thing that you can do during the holidays. There's so many things that you can do just right in your immediate circle. So yesterday, I took a sick day. Just really wasn't feeling it when I woke up. I had a sick day left, and this is my last full week of the year. So I went ahead and took the sick day. And I had solar installation people coming, and they ended up canceling because of the weather. And so that just kind of added to the crappiness of my day because I really wanted to be productive, but wasn't feeling it. And at the same time, the one thing that I had planned canceled. So it kind of all just spiraled into boredom and nothing. So, and then I thought about it and I was like, that's not the end of the world. That's really not terrible. I'm not feeling horrible like the flu. You know, um, I'm still able to get out of bed and get stuff done. So I'm going to figure out what I can do today to try and be productive. And it wasn't even maybe 15, 20 minutes later, I received a text message from my daughter's grandmother, and her brake lines went out on her. And thankfully, she was okay. Nothing happened. She didn't hit anybody, didn't get in an accident. But she works for the high school and she needs her car. And she works a second job. So she has a lot of responsibility and she needs her vehicle to get to and from work, both work. Not the luxury of having a second vehicle or having a huge nest egg of savings. So she reached out just to kind of ask my opinion and ask for help. Well, the place she took it was a place that I would have recommended anyway. And in a pinch, needing it done same day, um, that was the place that she should have gone. Well, they were going to charge a lot of money because she needed basically all of her brakes replaced, brake lines. It was bad. You don't take care of a car after 10, 15 years in the East Coast, of course, with all the salt that gets put down for snow. It's inevitable that the undercarriage is going to just get rusted up and you're going to have problems. And unfortunately, that happened. So I decided that since I had the day off, I was, you know, decent friends with the owner of the shop where she took it. I asked if I could provide all the parts, and then that way save her some money on the upcharge. Because a lot of these shops, they can't change the price of the parts. They have to make profit on the parts that they're installing, and then the labor to install it. So I went down to the shop, got the list of parts, and I was able to go and save her almost $400. I think it was more. It was closer to $500, but so in all the parts that she needed, almost $500 just in parts and upcharges saved because I just took the time to go and drive around and pick up parts for her. And I took it a step further. I picked her up from work, brought her back to the shop, um, got an update on the car, kind of helped her arrange a ride to and from work that evening. And by the end of the day, I feel like I didn't do much. All I did was get in my car and pick up some parts, and I drove around a little bit. So it didn't seem like much effort for me, but for her, it actually changed one of her worst days into a not so terrible day, aside from having to pay the money, and everything worked out. So it's just something very small means the world to somebody else. You should do it. At work, you do those toy drives and you help out families that are in need. You do donations throughout the year to a charity of choice, depending on your job. They choose a charity. And if your job's not doing something like that, there's nothing stopping you from doing it. A lot of companies have charities that they donate to. I mean, there's bigger companies that every year they donate something. because it's a tax break. So there's that. But also, there's nothing against putting up like some kind of notification for people that you want to do some kind of charity or do something good. And it's helping someone else. If you're in a position to help somebody else, even if you don't think you are because you're making good money, or you're not making really good money, but you're making enough to be comfortable, that just it's one thing to be living check to check, but it's another thing to not be able to just spend like $5 or $10 on a toy, or put a couple bucks donation towards the holidays, because we all have spent 5-10 bucks on a bad sandwich or coffee, and didn't even think about it. So skip a coffee and try and help somebody in need. There's tons of things that you can do, like I said, that are very, very cheap or cost you very minimal, and it means the world to somebody else. Now, typically, my pay it forward throughout the year isn't so much opening up the wallet and giving somebody money. It's more of just helping out. And I find it funny because sometimes you have people that when you help them out, it becomes kind of like they expect it. And if they help you out, it's all of a sudden a debt. I don't operate that way. I don't keep track of how many times I've helped somebody. I have a good friend of mine that I used to live with, and I can't count how many times I looked out for him because I wasn't keeping count. Ugh, this phone mount is really off balance. Sorry. But I don't know how many times I've helped him out, but I don't know how many times he's helped me out over the years, and it's been quite a while. I'm pretty positive that I've done so much that, you know, he's appreciated it more times than I even know. But there's so many times that just small things he's done I've appreciated more than he probably knows. My favorite part about that friendship is that one year, after so many years of just looking out, used to pay for his way to get into the club and pay for drinks and you know get order food to eat, taking places, didn't matter, whatever it was, always willing to help out. Just a great guy. The one year he called me up and asked me if uh, if I'm home, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm home. You know, feel free to stop by. Be good to see you. And throughout the year, he had asked some random questions, and I had no idea why he was asking them. And kind of asking me what my daughter's cleat size is, if might be able to get me a discount, if she needs any kind of gear for softball. And I didn't pay any mind to it because it was kind of spread out over time. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, if I ever need to get something, then I'm definitely going to go to him. And he shows up on my doorstep with this trash bag that's full of gifts. And I was just totally blown away because never had I expected, anything in return ever. And plus, we looked out for each other. That was the thing. Like, it didn't matter if I ever was paid back something that I paid for. It didn't matter if he was paid back. We just looked out. But to show up with a bag of gifts, and even more importantly, for my child, that that just really just it solidified everything when it came to why I looked out for him, because he still is. He's awesome. One of my best friends. And we don't keep in contact daily, but every now and again reach out, ask how he's doing. And if you're watching, what up, homie? Um, that bag of gifts for my daughter just really just still speechless years later. So if you're in a position to help somebody, even if it's something small. I've seen people who stand in the grocery line and somebody in front of them doesn't have enough money, and so they start putting stuff back, and that person will pay for them just because they've been in that situation in the past. There's nothing wrong with putting out money. There's so many people that are skeptical of spending any money because there are people who just do it to scam people, and it's a shame because if you want to help somebody, you should be able to help somebody without wondering if they're trying to scam you. I personally have kind of a intuition when it comes to people, and if it doesn't feel right, I don't act on it. But I remember one time I had my fiance and my daughter in the car. We pulled up to Shoppers, and we went in, and not immediately in front of the stores opening, the entryway, but off to the side, kind of by the carts. There was a family sitting over there. They weren't bothering anybody. They weren't begging. They weren't asking for anything. They were just sitting over in the corner. And you would have thought maybe they were just, checking their wallet, make sure they had everything, or getting ready to go in and go shopping. But with kids, you kind of get them prepared. Don't touch anything. Don't don't ask for anything. Stuff like that. And when we were on our way out, got in the car, and I had parked up front because I was running in to grab something and come back out. And when I came back out, they were still sitting there. So I got in the car and I said something to my daughter and my fiance. I don't even remember what it was, but I said something like, I'm going to go help them, or I'm going to give them a couple bucks, or whatever it was. I don't know. And I walked up to the guy, shook his hand, really polite. He wasn't dirty like he had been begging forever. He seemed like he was just in a tough spot. And so I asked him what's going on and, if everything was okay. And he had just lost his job. His wife doesn't work, she takes care of the kids. And he had asked Shoppers if he could, if he wasn't bothering anybody, if he could stay outside. And if somebody wanted to help him, then, he would be grateful. But he wasn't going to be begging or asking people as they were walking in or begging for anything. And it was just something about, I could tell that they just looked like they needed just a boost, some kind of positive, you know, sign for them. So when I walked over and I talked to the guy, and he just said that he was going through a rough time and he just needed a couple bucks to get back on his feet, and he didn't know what else to do. So, I gave him a $20 bill, and he was just floored. It was just $20 to me. At the time I had it, there was no reason why I couldn't help him out. I handed him a $20 bill, and he didn't want to take it. He was really like taken back by the fact that I walked over, made the attempt to talk to him, and then just handed him a $20 bill out of nowhere and said, take care of your family, good luck, and I hope that things improve. And just the look on his family's face, I mean, obviously not kids, but his wife and his face, that I went out of my way to talk to him and give him money. It felt good that I could make a difference in their lives, even if it's something as small as a $20 bill. Now, I didn't go back and, think about, was I being scammed? Did he take me for my money? Because he genuinely looked like he needed it. And if he didn't need it, there's such thing as karma. Karma's real. For the longest time, karma did not treat me well because I didn't treat others well. And, I've said it quite a few times over the last 2 or 3 years that I need to continue with this paying it forward and doing good deeds and looking out for others, because I've been riding this good karma wave for the last 3 years. And all I can think about is, when is it going to come crashing down? You know, it only takes one bad decision or one, you know, small change in your life to really affect the karma in your life, and things just continue to go downhill. Somebody commented on my picture that I posted on my business page, and it said, um, something like, "Great job, you're really kicking ass at life. Congratulations." And it made me think for a little bit about that, because to me, I'm just trying my best to keep my bills paid, make sure that, my fiance and I, we have money for things in case we need to, buy something in an emergency. Put a little money away in savings. Did some improvements on the house so that way we have the home that we want, because we're not planning on moving or selling that house anytime soon, if at all. It's perfect for us. But things change, over the years. But for right now, everything's the way we want it. And the more I sat and thought about it, I really did consider, things are going really well, and they have been going well for a long time. And I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, and good things happen if you put that good energy back out in the world. But at the same time, you have to work. You have to put forth the effort, whether it's you know making the money to cover what your needs are, if it's you know putting in the effort to do the things you want to do to improve your home or your situation. So there's a lot more to things going well in life than just kind of riding that wave of that good karma. And I know some people that they just believe good things happen to good people and you don't really have to do anything for it. And you can say that you're blessed or you're fortunate, but in reality, you're biding time until something happens if you don't stay focused on doing the right thing and looking out for your family and your finances. So that's why it's important that you don't have to always pay it forward, but you do have to be, conscious of what you're doing and try to do some good out there. I'm trying my best to continue to do good things for people and to look out whenever somebody needs something. And I don't ever expect any, return on that. I just want people to know they can depend on me. I think that's kind of one of the big things. Like, I don't know if that's selfish. I just want people to know that they can depend on me is one motivation for things that I do. I'll ask for a favor now and again, and if nobody helps, maybe they're just not able to right now. I don't hold it against people. I think it was yesterday I made a post because the wood forms for my driveway, I pulled them up while the garage was being built, and I asked if anybody could just take them to the dump. And I had a couple people that told me that, next time they're around, toss them in the back and they'll get rid of it. And some people told me to just leave it out and trash will pick it up. So at least I have options. That doesn't mean that because I didn't get that instant gratification of somebody, I'll be right there and I'll pick it up. It doesn't mean that I wasn't helped. I was given options. I was given some alternatives to just, that wood laying next to the driveway. There's a couch on the side of the road. That's an alternative too. You toss it out the window. It's not a good option, but there's options out there. And if it doesn't get picked up by next trash day, it'll go out on the curb. So always think about that. When you're helping somebody out, are you doing it because you expect something in return? Are you doing it because you owe somebody? Or are you doing it just because you really want to help somebody out? That's why the motivation behind things immediately affects how you feel about what you did and your relationship with that person that you're helping. You can't go into a favor expecting something because it's going to leave a bad taste in your mouth when you need something and they don't help. And most of the time, it's not they don't help because they don't want to. They just don't have the resources or they don't have the time. As busy as everyone is nowadays, whether it's at work or at home, there's always time if you just take a moment, think about it, to do something to help somebody else out. I spent my sick day helping out a family member. I didn't have to do that. I could have said, I'm sorry to hear about that. Let me know how it goes. And went back to sleep. I could have very well uh, not answered the text message until later in the afternoon. I've had that happen to me. But that's just not who I am. I don't do that. If somebody messages me, if they need me, I'll at least respond. There's been times when I've been unable to help people. You can't help everybody, but you can help at least somebody every now and again. And that's kind of how that good karma comes along and how that positivity spreads. Think about the last thing that you've had happen to you that was, positive, that was helpful, that made you feel good. Somebody else most likely did something to cause that. And I'm not saying that you can't make your own happiness, but there's always a chain reaction of things based on something that you do, and it affects people, whether it's in a positive or a negative way. You just have to remember that something you do, whether it's at work, at home, personal life, doesn't matter. Something you do affects somebody else in one way or another. So just try to do something that makes somebody else happy, and I guarantee you it'll come back around. I've seen some friends that have over the years just continuously struggled, and they feel like the world's coming down on them, and it's a lot of just being stuck in a situation where it's a constant circle of things bad, bad things happen, have to spend money to make it right, trying to make that money back. Something bad happens, got time and effort invested into trying to get out of whatever that negative thing that happened, and it just continues over and over and over again to just be bad. But it doesn't have to be. I used to tell people who hated their job, if you hate your job and you hate what you're doing, do something else. And the excuse never changes. They need to at least make this amount. They need to at least have this many hours. Their salary has to be at least this. And I get it. You have a responsibility financially to whatever the way you've been living for the last however long. But at the same time, you don't. When I started saving to buy a house, number one, I wasn't alone. I had my fiance helping, and she wasn't making a lot of money either. That's one thing that couples fight about, no matter who you are. It's about money because eventually you get to a point where your money is starting to run out before your next check or your living check to check. And you're kind of depending on that other person to put money aside so that way you both can have a future. And, I was at a point where I wasn't able to really put anything away, or I wasn't putting anything away at all. And when we got together, we just decided what kind of life we were going to live and how much we were going to spend to live that life. So that way we could put money away and get our own place and eventually buy a house. And over that time, we got better jobs, we got promotions, we got, um, increases, and it's helped each step of our relationship to the point where it is now, where we have a home and our bills are paid and we're putting money away and we're able to put money back into the house. And I know that that's not the same situation that everybody gets in, but the goal is you have to have a goal, number one, and put money away so that way you have a realistic timeline of how long it's going to take to achieve that goal. And if your goal is to get into an apartment, that's not a bad goal. It's a goal. You have to get the next step in your life, whether it's renting and getting out of your parents' house or renting a roommate's upper bedroom or something. You've really got to just think about the next step. The next step doesn't always have to be that huge leap because not everybody can afford that. So just be cautious of how you spend your money, especially when people talk about paying it forward and doing things for others. It doesn't have to be a huge gesture and it doesn't have to be a ton of money. It just has to be something that's positive, something that's affecting someone else in a positive way. And, it makes you feel good that you're helping somebody else. If you're not in a situation to help, hopefully somebody's out there that wants to help you. Like we have some couches we're trying to get rid of. So we reached out to a church to see if somebody wants to take them. People lose their furniture and their belongings in like house fires. is a perfect opportunity for somebody to just get started, even if they're not, brand new couches. They're at least something that will get them by to the next step. So make sure that if you can't this year, try next year to pay it forward. You've got for the rest of your life to try and do good, to do things that are positive, impactful to other people, and there's nothing holding you back other than just the effort. You can donate time, you can donate, your help. You don't have to always donate money. So pay it forward, do some good. Let me know in the comments below if you do something every year or if you're planning on doing something next year, if you've paid it forward in the past and how it worked out. Spread some positivity. That's what it's about. But thank you all so much for hanging out with me this morning. If you're not watching it live, please make sure that you comment, make sure you subscribe. You'll get notifications next time I'm live. And I'm always happy to make videos based on your recommendations as well. Thank you all so much for watching. Definitely see you all in the next one.